worth and being confident in knowing who you are. But the first person who has to realize that there's a greater you on the inside of you is you. In life, we all go through stages of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which leads us to our purpose and promise. UTCM is a platform where you get to share your story and your truth of unmasking moments that allows you to embrace all stages in your life. UTCM looks forward to many people being able to unmask, uncover, and unveil themselves on the podcast. Thank you for watching and joining us. Hey, everybody. Hey. I apologize. Give me 1 second. I am trying to make sure I am live. I am live on Facebook. Okay. I think I am. I just all right, you know what? Let me just leave this alone. Whew. Hi, everybody. Welcome to season 6 of UTCM. Unmasking the Cover Me, season 6, episode number 2. I am here solo today. Solo dolo. And I am trying to kind of bring myself down a little bit. Today was a busy day at work. That's number one. And then after work, I thought I had everything planned out, right? But then what usually only takes me 15 minutes to get home, it took me 45 minutes to get home. There was a lot of traffic. I don't know what was happening on Nye and Lyons Avenue, but baby, it was backed all the way up. Yeah, so I'm here. I was supposed to have a guest tonight. But unfortunately, we had to do a little pivoting, which is fine. It's all good. That's a part of the process, right? So I just would like for everyone in my UTCM community, my tribe, to keep my guest who was supposed to be on, and she will be on next month, but just keep her in prayer. She is just going through some stuff, but she's working through it. And I'm just super proud of her, and I'm thankful for her yes too as well. So she will be on next month. So stay tuned. B, I love you. I love you. And I'm so proud of you. And I cannot wait to have you on with me next month. Yeah. I don't know. Can I just be really, really honest right now? This is season 6. So that means 6 years for me that I've been doing this. And I still get nervous. I still have butterflies. And today I kept going back and forth with myself of, you know what? Since B can't come on, I'm just gonna maybe I won't jump on. And I said, you know what, Naisha? Just jump on. Right? I kind of everything that I did today is way outside of what I would like to do, right? I usually don't go to the gym on podcast days because I want to come home and like there's just like this whole thing that I do and it's just so structured. And today I was just like, no, like do it outside of that, right? Like let's see how you operate, right? With not having it all together and it being perfect. Ooh, it being perfect. That is something that I am dealing with in therapy. And I'm working through it. And I kind of have a challenge with articulating everything that kind of ties to being a perfectionist. But God is definitely having me deal with it, whether I like it or not. I've also kind of learned in therapy too as well. And we'll kind of dive into that too, right? Um, I've learned in therapy that I've always kind of taken things when, when it's not perfect or it doesn't necessarily work out or I don't have any control. I took it as it being like I'm in danger, but I'm learning that there's a difference between being in danger and our feeling, are having the feeling of discomfort, right? So, and most of the time, right, that's what my therapist is having me acknowledge, right? When things come up, when things arise, it's okay, Naisha, you have to ask yourself, are you in danger or are you feeling a feeling of discomfort? And to be honest with you, most of the time I am feeling the feeling of discomfort. That's just what it is. It's I'm not in danger, I'm not hurt, no one is trying to hurt me or anything like that. I am just feeling this discomfort, right? Which is challenging to me because then I have to lean into that discomfort and also sit with that discomfort, and that is not something that I usually do. I usually, once I have that feeling, it's like I go right into fix it mode. All right, I gotta fix it, gotta get it right, gotta do it right. And it's like, no, you don't. You need to pump your brakes, sit down, right, and feel the feels. Yeah, that feeling the feels. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I thank everybody who is jumping on, who will jump on, who will watch um the replay. I appreciate, I say it all the time. I don't think that I can say it enough, but I appreciate everyone that continues to support UTCM. I really, really do. You guys um have been nothing but amazing to me on this journey. This journey, I continue to evolve in this journey. It is not an easy journey, but working through it, working through it. There has been a lot of transformation, um, that people have shared with me too as well. And, creating this space where people can really be okay with being real, being honest, but most importantly, being who they're supposed to be, right? Just being you, um, which is uh, not always the case. I don't want to say that it's not always easy. It's just, some of us, I know for myself, there was at times there wasn't a space for us to really be able to be honest, to be real, or to even be ourselves. So, we've kind of filtered ourselves and allowed ourselves to people please, or, you know, be someone that we're not, right? So I'm, beginning to, and still learning to continue to kind of lean in, right? And it not having to be perfect. Yeah. So I just feel right now, I feel uncomfortable because I did not necessarily prepare how I wanted to. Like, I have things written down and things that I want to talk about, but it wasn't my normal process and what I do. And I decided to kind of take myself out of the normalcy of how I usually do it, just to see. My therapist said that she wanted me to start to do things on purpose, not perfect. And I'm like, girl, you trying to send me to the hospital? Because when I tell you that perfectionism spirit that is on Naisha, ooh, it's real, real, real deep. It's real deep. I didn't even realize it was that deep. Then I have been being very triggered at work, because I feel like I've been in this space for, a decent amount of time, and why don't I still know certain things? And then, sometimes people cannot be so friendly, right? And then they can then make you feel a little uncomfortable, right? Because not everybody is nice. especially when they're under pressure, right? So then you feel their pressure. So I've been even having challenges, at work that I am, trying to work through challenges, just personally too as well. So yeah, and tonight episode is really about, learning, unlearning, and becoming, right? And what does that really look like in totality? And if I can really just say it right now and be honest, like I'm still I still don't have it all figured out. I still don't have it all figured out. And I think that's the beauty of the journey, that you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to put that much pressure on yourself to try to figure it out. But that's something that I always have to continue to tell myself, because sometimes I don't necessarily feel that I'm on the right track. I had to get my thoughts together. Because I'm just trying to, like I said, I need y'all to pray for me. I am feeling the feels. I don't know what this feeling is about, but I'm leaning in to, no matter what the feel is feeling, I'm gonna feel it, and I'm gonna keep it moving. Because I feel like this is where I used to always get stuck. I think I shared this on my Wellness Wednesday video yesterday, hashtag MWWD. Yes, I remember the acronym today. My Wellness Wednesday diary. I usually just do like a little short video of what my Wellness Wednesday means to me. Right. And yesterday I was just kind of speaking to, some things of just unlearning how I used to operate. Right. So yeah. So first thing is first, right? Um just understanding, right? Like what am I learning? That's the question, right? What am I learning right now? Right now in this space, in this time of my unmasking journey, what am I learning? And I think the biggest thing that I'm learning um, is just being reminded um, of who I am. Like, you got this, Naisha, right? I felt like I had started to shrink back. And I don't necessarily know why I started to shrink or started to feel like I wasn't um, worthy to be in, certain positions or doing certain things, right? So then I'm just like, okay, start to question, right? Yeah, that's the thing, like really questioning myself, questioning my worthiness, questioning my authority, questioning my call, questioning my purpose, right? Like I just been questioning, just literally like a question mark, right, over my head. um and I believe that I am learning that I have the authority to um, live through purpose, right? And living through purpose is different for for everyone. Your purpose, right? Your purpose is different, right? I could not imagine myself um, doing a podcast and writing a book. Like that just wasn't in my cards, for me. So I'm learning to even learning how to communicate in a healthy way, right? I think that's super big for me, um, because I have not always been the best communicator, even though I thought I was, right? I realized that communication is something that has been really challenging for me, right? And I'm just going to be very transparent and very vulnerable in this moment, right? Even in I'm going to share with, let's just say, with my marriage. Um, I was always looking to, wow, this is crazy. I was always looking for my husband to understand what I needed and what I wanted. So when we're having a conversation, or if I'm feeling something, I don't necessarily know if I really want to be able to tell him, right? Because I don't know if he's going to respond the way that I want him to respond. So I've created all these narratives in my head. So then what happens with me is I tend to retreat and shut down, right? And my shutdown looks like just being really silent, not saying anything. If he even asks me, are you good? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. Like energy, just very, right. And I'm very guarded, right? But in my head, I'm like he should know. Like he should know what I need. So you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not even gonna talk about it because you know what? It's gonna go left anyway. Right. And my therapist was just also speaking to me. She said, and I in my last session, she said, Naisha, you have not set clear boundaries. Hence to the reason why you feel how you feel is you. You haven't set the boundaries. You're assuming, and you've also have set an expectation that they should know what you need. And it's crazy because it's not even just with my husband, but it's also with the men that are closest to me. So my father, my spiritual father, my grandfather, um and when you I feel like when I come if I'm coming to them and if I'm telling them something, right? Like sometimes I don't necessarily want to hear, you know um fix it, right? And some you have to tell people what you need. At the end of the day, they can't read your mind. And here I am thinking that, oh, you know what? I just can't say nothing. I just can't say nothing. But no, Naisha, you haven't communicated what you needed. Yes, you can say something. You can, but you haven't communicated like this is what I need right now. Like, you know what? You know, um, I appreciate that you love me, right? But I had a really, really hard moment, and today, and I want to just get it out. I want to just speak it out, right? I'm not looking for you to, fix it or whatever the case may be. I just need to be able to get it out, right? Um, but I've always kind of been scared to do that because I'm like, my thing is like, I feel like that's like I'm being confrontational. No, you're setting boundaries. You're actually the people that you love and that you're in relationship with, you're communicating with them and you're telling them what's going on and this is what you need. That don't sound like nothing wrong to me. But that's not how I always operated. And I was like really for years I've been like really suffering thinking that there's certain things that I can't share or that I can't say because this is what's going to happen or this is what they're going to say. Like I've already created all these narratives in my head that yeah, what I'm not going to do is because yeah, they're not all they're going to do, this is what they're going to do, this is what they're going to say, and I'm not going to. But then Aisha, how is that being real, being honest, and being you? It's not. So I'm learning to communicate more effectively, and not even more effectively, but in a healthier way. And it's not easy. It is challenging because I am now unlearning a habit that I normalized for over 30 something years. So now it's just like, all right, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it's been a little tight. It really has. God is really stretching me. Um, and it's been tough. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like I'm like, dang, I'm like 6 years in, and it's still hard. It's still hard. But I believe the difference is, even though it's still hard, I just feel like I'm in the right place. I am where I'm supposed to be right now. Right. So just learning how to communicate more in a healthier way. That is super huge for me, because communication, right? If I'm able to communicate in a healthy way, it allows me to be able to free up my spirit of what I'm holding on to and consuming on a daily basis, on a constant basis. Like, girl, you got all these thoughts, and you thought in, and you thought in by yourself, and all this stuff, and it's all, and then that's why I'm like, that's why I was getting sick. Even last year, because last year I ended up in a hospital again. I ended up in a hospital for, I think, like 3 or 4 days. Here I thought I was just I thought I just had like a little cold, I had a fever, whatever the case may be. And then it ended up turning out, well, they first of all, they tested me for everything again, and they couldn't find anything. Like, they couldn't find out like why I kept having a fever. Like, they just couldn't find out anything. So that's how I know it was spiritual. Right. So I ended up in a hospital again for 4 days. But that's because it's just because usually it always happens around the same time. It was around May when I ended up in the hospital, and I was sick of last year. And that's just because I hold on to all these thoughts, I hold on to all these emotions, I hold on to all these feelings, and I don't allow myself to feel, to release, to speak up, to be honest, to be real, to be me, right? All the everything that I speak to, doing the complete opposite of. And I think that's where the uncomfortability is coming from. No, not the uncomfortability. The discomfort is coming from, because I am really leaning in on doing what I'm saying. I have to. I have to. I have to be obedient to all of everything that God gives me, all these downloads, and all these sayings, and phrases, and all this stuff. This is nobody but God. And I need to lean into that. Um yeah, so that's what I'm learning, to communicate in a more healthier way. And there's a freeness in that. There was a moment that me and my husband, we shared, and I just feel so much lighter. I feel a lot lighter, right? And I think we're also, him and I are learning together how to communicate in a healthier way too, as well. Because now, with me speaking up and telling him, like, I don't want to do it the old way, right? I've said that before, but now we're putting action behind what we're saying, right? Because I could say it, but now there has to be some action. You got to do it. You got to use the tools. You just have to. I have to. So yeah, if you're not in therapy, and you know that you have some stuff that you holding on to, and that you dealing with mentally, don't do it by yourself. Get you a therapist. Get you a therapist. It works. Therapy and Jesus, it works. It really does. I'm not lying to you. It really works. Right? I guess also I can say too, learning that growth requires discomfort, right? And then also learning that I am worthy without performance. Ooh, mm, 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 mm. Learning that I am worthy without performance. Just because I don't do it right, don't mean that I'm not worthy. Y'all see this bun? I apologize in advance if y'all hear Chloe. She barking because somebody came in the house. Oh, so really quick before I jump into while I'm unlearning, right? I am again stepping out of my discomfort, right? I know I've been speaking about for a couple of seasons now. Oh, I want my own podcast studio. I want my own podcast studio, and it kind of dawned on me, like, you know what? Yes, that's well. It's good that you want your own podcast studio, and you can have your own podcast studio in time, in God's time, at that. So I felt like it's like, you know what? But there are podcast studios out here. Naisha, why don't you go to a podcast studio, do a tour, right? And maybe you can start to do some podcast, um, podcast sessions in the studio, right? Get the feel of it, build a relationship, right? Kind of learn from that studio, right? Because you can't just jump into having a studio. Maybe you need to learn some stuff, get some training and all that stuff, right? Be in the space. So I am going to do a tour next month at a podcast studio. So prayerfully, I'll be having some episodes in the podcast studio. So go me, go me. All right. We leaning in. We putting action behind that yes. We putting action behind that yes. So yes. So y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. So prayerfully, like I said, I'll be doing some episodes inside of a studio. Hopefully I can build a really good relationship with this studio. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I want to just also so going back to learning, right? Learning is where awareness begins, right? When you begin to say, you know what, I want to learn, you become more aware about the things that maybe you do, right? Or, oh, that triggered me, right? Like it just makes you more, like the awareness is like so heightened, right? So because that's where I've been for the past couple of months. I'm like, oh, Naisha, what was it in you that made you want to go to your default? Because it's also about self-reflection. It really is. Like you need to self-reflect, look back in that mirror as well. So I've been having to look at myself in the mirror, right? Yeah. So learning is where your awareness begins. What am I unlearning? Oh, 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 oh. What am I unlearning? So I'm definitely unlearning survival mode and people pleasing and silence and overthinking. Um, is the toxic cycles of generational patterns. Ooh, unlearning the idea that struggle equals identity, and letting go of what I felt normal but wasn't healthy. Mm. It's that people pleasing one for me, though, right? That I kind of want to unpack a little bit. The people pleasing, which causes me to be silent, and then also causes me to then overthink, right? Make sure you have a voice and you can use it. And you don't have to be mean. You don't have to be nasty. You don't have to be disgruntled. You don't have to walk around with an ugly face and, stop not still be you and have that same personality. But you also do need to speak up for yourself. You do. You need to advocate for yourself. And the biggest thing is, I've also been saying this to my kids too, like you and my therapist said this to me, like, girl, you always trying to set boundaries for everybody else. Like, people, if people gonna do what they want to do, like, it could be something just so simple, like, oh, and I know I'm not alone, so don't y'all even go there. Don't y'all even. I'm not alone. Oh, I don't want to bother them because they got this and that going on. Like, how are you setting a boundary for them? How do you know? At the end of the day, if people know that they can't help you or do what you're asking, they're gonna tell you. So then you go in and you start overthinking. Oh, I'm just gonna be. Yeah, I ain't going. Right, and then that again, holding all that stuff in. Right, but then also, like, well, I don't want to say nothing. Oh, this is me. This is a big one for me, y'all. I don't want to say nothing, because they going through something right now, but they did something that kind of maybe hurt you, or they said something out of pocket that wasn't nice, right? And you allowed that to kind of happen. I allowed that to kind of happen, right? Without speaking up or saying anything. And again, I don't have to be nasty, I don't have to be rude, right? But at the end of the day, you don't get to be rude to me. You don't get to disrespect me, right? Like, and if I feel like what you're saying to me or how you're saying it to me is derogatory, it's causing me to feel like you're talking at me, not talking to me, you're being a bully, I don't have to accept that. I don't have to accept that. I don't have to just sit there and accept that. So I know I have to, it's for me, it's a lot of telling myself, like, all right, Naisha, it goes back to that question. Are you in danger, or is this discomfort right now? And if it is discomfort, you you are able to remove yourself from the situation. You can take your moment. You can also speak to it. You can say it like, you know what? This conversation right now is making me a little, it's having me feel a little discomfort. So I need 5 minutes, or I need 10 minutes, or I need 20 minutes. And then can we come back and revisit this? Like, you can say that, Naisha. You can say that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. So, and I've actually done it a couple of times. Now I just have to begin to do it in other spaces too. I've been doing it more with my kids. Well, just the one son, Zaire. Sometimes he always takes me there. I love him. I love him though, but he takes me there. But usually when he takes me there, my default is to shut down and be like, all right, okay, and then just walk away, but not speak to what I'm feeling in that moment. Right. So then I'm not even teaching him how to effectively or how to handle his emotions. Right. So then it's the cycle repeats itself. Right. Well, I seen mom, that's how she handles stuff. So, right. And not like subconsciously, not even like, what I'm saying, on purpose. It's just that because this is what you've been around and what you've seen. So then you kind of pick up the same spirit a little bit. So now again, I am unlearning, right? To stop normalizing what my defaults are, right? And really leaning more into the new, which is a whole process. Like, it's, and sometimes I get it right, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, nah, the default feel a little bit better. The default feel a little bit better. But then sometimes I'm like, you know what? Let's lean in. Let's lean. Let's see how this works, right? And like a muscle. The more you the more you do it, the stronger it becomes. right? So, yeah, right. So I wrote unlearning is uncomfortable because it requires you to confront what you normalized, right? Unlearning is uncomfortable because it requires you to confront what you normalize. Yep. I have normalized that people pleasing. I have normalized me just being silent and my shutdown. And I have definitely normalized me overthinking, creating a whole scenario and narrative in my head. And the crazy thing is, I've seen my son, Zaire, the middle son, he does that. And I'm like, wow, wow. So again, it goes back to get you a therapist. Everything is get you a therapist. Get you a therapist and get you some Jesus. And yeah, you're gonna be on the right track. It ain't gonna be easy, but at least you're gonna be on the right track with those antidotes. um, right. So an unlearning is where healing really begins. When you really begin to say, you know what? Yeah, this is just I know that this not right. I know that's not right. This just not it. There's no way that I should be sitting around here isolated, feeling by myself, feeling alone, feel like I don't have nobody to talk to, feel like I'm just I'm defeated. There's no light. Like I just yeah, there's just no hope. There's no joy, there's no peace, there's no clarity. Nah, we don't gotta live a life like that. I don't want to live a life like that. So, unlearning is where healing will begin. And it's a process. Okay, I think I remember now what I was going back to when I said yesterday on my Wellness Wednesday post. I talked about the month of March being very um, challenging, right? And so usually it's March, April, and May. And May because I have consumed so much for March and April. That's when my body begins to shut down and just can't take anymore, and I become really, really sick. And I didn't realize that until the other day because I've been sitting with myself. I've been with um, sitting with feelings and allowing myself to feel, but also not just sitting with them, but also speaking to them, speaking about them. Right. I have a space. I go to therapy every Saturday faithfully at 8 o'clock. And I look forward to therapy because it's literally like me going to, I think I mentioned this before, but it's like me going to the doctor to get better. It really is. So March is usually the month where it becomes very challenging for me. And then I just kind of just go down this rabbit hole. But people will never know. People would never know. One of the leaders at my job said to me the other day, she's like, oh, Naisha, you are just like always just so happy. Nothing ever bothers you. And I said, I have to correct you. That's not true. Things really things bother me. I have just um become so professional at in certain spaces, which one is my job. I have become so professional at just blocking all of reality out. Right. So when I'm at that job, When I'm in that job, it's all about the job. It's all about, my like and yes and like everything is just sunflowers and roses and everything is just peachy. I'm just so happy. Ciao. Meanwhile, after I leave that job, those thoughts get in the thoughting, and I just be a hot mess. So it's crazy because now I'm just gonna share this with y'all too. So maybe my supervisor watching. I don't know. I love you, Keish. But even now at work, like yeah, I feel like God is like, yeah, you can't like because you've been so professional at wearing the mask even in this space. I'm gonna make you even more uncomfortable. So it's been really challenging. Like I can't. Some days I find it very very hard to even concentrate and focus. Today was one of those days, and I literally, because again I am such, I'm so task oriented, and I'm so like such a perfectionist, right? So first thing and I'm so routined, like everything is so routine, like it's insane. So first thing I do is, I check the calendars, make sure, there's nothing overlapping and everybody calendar is, where it's supposed to be. Then I have a task list, right? So, and I love to write my task down, and then I can cross it out because I want to see, right? Because when I cross out that task list, that means that I did it. I'm successful. I'm good. I am worthy. I performed well. I perform well. So they're going to like me. No matter of fact, they're going to love me. They're going to notice me because I am performing at high potential. Child. God, like, girl, them days, they're done. Mm-hmm. Yep, you could put all the stuff that you want on that task list. I don't care. You could put 99 things on that task list. No. Mm-mm. So I have a task list since Monday. I've been writing the same thing on the task list and have been doing the complete opposite of what's on the task list. Oh my God. And what was it? It wasn't yesterday. Maybe it was a day before yesterday. I just left feeling so defeated because I'm like, it wasn't Monday, it was Tuesday. I was like, I wrote down the same things and I was like, you know what? On Tuesday, I am going to get this done. All these things on this list, it's going to be done. Mm-mm. First of all, my job is not even the space that I'm in. Like you having a task list, like you need to stop doing that. You're actually disappointing yourself, Naisha. And you're actually causing yourself your own pain. My job and what I do, I'm an executive assistant for senior leadership at a hospital. It is very fast paced. And the space that I'm in is literally almost like Grand Central Station. There's constant movement. The phones are constantly ringing. There's traffic in and out all day long. There's meetings. There's things that happen that, you just have to jump right on in. I support 4 different leaders, um, right? And sometimes that, they may need something, right? So me continuing to write my task list out and then being disappointed that I didn't get anything done, I'm causing my own pain. I'm causing my own headache, my own heartache, and my own pain to myself. Like, just, it's okay, Naisha. You can give up the task list. I mean, I've been in this position, this role now. It'll make a year on Tuesday. So, I mean, you've made it. You survived, right? You've been doing it. give up the task list. It's okay. In this season, you don't need the task list. You just need to work. Just do it. It's okay if you want to write stuff down because you don't remember. You know you can't remember. Like that's fine. But far as like holding yourself to that task list, girl, you gonna kill yourself. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be on you. I'm telling this to myself. I'm talking to myself. So, yeah. Hey y'all. I can't see nobody's I guess it's a good thing. I just looked over at my phone and I see all the comments. But for some reason I can't see the comments on a computer, but it's all good. I guess it's just not meant to be. I'll go back and read them later. But I love that you guys are interacting with me. That I may be speaking, you know, maybe speaking to something that you may have been dealing with, or may have thought about, like, oh wait, dang, I'm really not alone. Yeah, that's what this journey is about. We are not alone, and it is no perfect journey. No perfect journey at all. It's not a perfect journey. So yeah, and then I think the last one is the becoming, right? Who am I becoming? Hmm. Hmm. I gotta sit with this one for a second. As I wrote down, you don't become by accident, you become by a decision. Right. And I think right now, where I am in my journey, I'm becoming I'm becoming me, who I've always been meant to be. Oh, that rhyme. I like that. Um, but I'm becoming the girl that continues to show up for herself. Yeah. I'm becoming the better version of myself. And I actually said that when I started with my new therapist. I have to ask her because I feel like I've been with her forever now, but it's only been a few months. I think I started with this therapist after, I think it was in January. I started with her, but it feels like, oh my goodness, it feels like I've been with her forever. And she said, like in my first couple of therapy sessions, she said, after she got to know me, she said, I keep hearing you say that you want to be the better version of yourself. And she said to me, she said, Naisha, that's not going to happen right away. And, what I continue to hear you say is this is what you want. So you're looking to be that right now, like right now in this moment. No. So I'm learning that, becoming is not instant, it's a process. It's a process. So it's not going to be quick. So to be honest, like, I can't say I know who I'm becoming in totality right now. Like, I just know that I am becoming a better version of myself, right? Because I am making the decision to be better, but also understanding that better is going to happen over time. Better is going to have layers to it. Better is not going to just be, I'm not going to be better right now in this moment. And I think that's where I always kind of mess myself up, because I'm like, I'm doing I'm doing the work, I'm doing it, right? Like, why am I not better? Why am I not feeling better? Why am I still dealing with, these same things, right? Because it's just always me rushing, right? Because I want to get it right. I want to be perfect. I want it all to be right. Why is it not right? Why am I not right? Why is it not happening? Because Nisha, just breathe. Just breathe. Just chill. Yeah, y'all take a breath with me, y'all. Take a breath. Cause I know I'm not by myself. So put hashtag breathe. I want to see everybody. I want to see everybody put hashtag breathe on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you watch it. Hashtag breathe. We need to breathe, y'all. I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. Hashtag breathe. Hashtag breathe. I'm waiting to. Yes. Hey, B. I love you. I love you, girl. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. So thankful for your life. Um, whew, God is doing some amazing things through you, girl. For real. For real. Hashtag breathe. Yes, Dad. Hashtag just breathe. Yes. So that's what we need to do, y'all. We need to breathe. Right. And I think what I was looking for, right, when I was like, okay, you know what this episode is going to be about: learning, unlearning, and becoming, right? Like, I want to have something to say for becoming. Yeah, I don't, I don't have anything right now to say, but that I'm just going to keep showing up. I'm going to be the best version that I can be each day. And I'm not going to allow my becoming to be instant, but I'm going to go through the process, period. My becoming is not instant, but it's a process. That's it right there. That's it right there. Right? Becoming is where transformation happens. Becoming is where transformation happens. So I did a little quote for tonight because I'm about to get off. I love y'all because y'all been rocking with me for real. Um, so my quote is that learning shaped me. No, I'm gonna say learning is shaping me, unlearning is freeing me, and becoming is transforming me. I'm gonna say it one more time. Learning is shaping me, unlearning is freeing me, and becoming is transforming me. Yeah. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. You're not behind. We're not behind. Let's give ourselves grace, y'all. Let's give ourselves grace. So before I close, I always like to do I guess like a call to action, right? Um Maybe you could write these questions in your journal and journal about them, or write them down or type them, however you decide, right? But it takes work. It takes intentionality, right, to really kind of do this this healing self-reflection work. It's not something that's instant. It's a process. So, right, I'm going to ask these questions and you sit with them, right? What am I currently learning about myself? What is something I know I need to unlearn? And then who am I becoming? Okay, those are three questions. What am I currently learning about myself? What is something I know I need to unlearn? And who am I becoming? All right, so we know that there's nothing perfect about this journey at all, right? So let's continue, like I said, to give ourselves grace, right? And always, always, always remember, right? To be real, to be honest, but most importantly, be you, because there is a greater you on the inside of you. All right, y'all. I'm out. I love y'all. Good night. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I love y'all. Be safe. Have a good rest of the week. And I will see y'all soon. Good night.